Yeah, remember the original launch date was supposed to be August 29th, so it keeps getting pushed back. Let's start closer to home. We've got some showers developing, mainly south of the city along the coastline and along the Mississippi Sound as our front is pushing in. This frontal boundary has kind of activated some of the moisture available and triggering showers, thunderstorms, actually fairly decent thunderstorms from north and just south of Galliano down toward the coast, Grand Isle, south of Jean Lafitte around des Allemands, Homa getting in some of those, and generally then we have a break over the city, and then it continues across the Mississippi Sound, maybe a few moving toward the Biloxi Marsh. And that's about it as this front continues to push on through. Drier air moving in overnight tonight and cooler air. 93 degrees is our high today, only 2 degrees away from the record of 95. And then we're done with the 90s. In fact, we'll be in the low 80s throughout the rest of the week. Average high is 86. We'll be below that. You see some of the passing cloud cover from those showers. 91 our current temperature. Actually, it would have been nice to get some cooling rain here over the city because we're not going to see any rain through the next 7 at least days with that drier air mass moving in. Upper to mid 80s on the North Shore where some of that slightly cooler air is starting to move in. Still low 90s south of the lake, but the less humid air is already starting to be felt on the North Shore, and the dew points will continue to drop as that dry air mass moves in, and the dry air will be reinforced actually thanks to Ian and the track it's going to be taking. Right now, winds of 100 miles an hour, so it is now a Category 2. The expectation is that it will become a 3 before reaching western Cuba because the upper environment and the surrounding environment is completely free of any obstacles that would prevent this from further strengthening, and that will likely be the case as it initially moves into the Gulf. Eventually later this week, conditions in the Gulf will worsen, but in the near future through about Wednesday, it'll be kind of open for business, and that is why the expectation is for it to become a 4. It is still very possible it becomes a 5. Now, none of the models are really going that high with the strength, but certainly a possibility. The big question mark, though, for folks in Florida is exactly when and where it will make landfall. If it's sooner, it would likely be still as a strong major hurricane, maybe a 3 at that point. But the longer it takes to move inland, the weaker the storm will become because then the environment becomes more hostile. However, the longer it takes to move inland, while yes, it will help to weaken it, that just prolongs the effects across almost the entirety of the Florida Peninsula with the rain, wind, and storm surge. Now, also keep in mind with the center of the storm offshore, that's going to be the more catastrophic wind. However, they're still going to get some damaging winds across almost the entire state. Still a little bit of a spread in the models in days 3 and 4, but basically really since late last week, the models have been zeroing in on the west coast of Florida and they have not changed. What's very interesting, normally by this date, or I should say by this date, we have had 9 named storms for 4 hurricanes and only 1 major. Maybe changing that if Ian becomes a major hurricane. On average, though, we've had 10 named storms, 4 hurricanes, and 2 majors. So just that fast, we've been running so below average for so long this hurricane season, we've quickly come up to almost average for this time of the year. There's only one other area that we're watching right now in the Atlantic Basin, and this is a very weak system at the moment, and most of the models keep it very, very weak. As I said, the upper pattern is going to be favoring us. Here comes the upper trough. That's pushing the front on through, and as Ian moves northward, that will start pulling the storm, not quickly, but pulling it toward Florida, and eventually bringing in drier air for us. Another big key, the reason why the storm will start weakening is as the wind shear increases thanks to that upper trough, we'll also start to see some dry air intrusion, which will kind of cut off the center and really also help to weaken the storm. So the wind shear and dry air will all play a factor in the quick weakening of the storm as we get toward late Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. For us, though, that drier air means less humid air and cooler temperatures. That'll make it feel beautiful this entire week. Look at our morning lows coming up. Highs in the low 80s. Ian will kind of reinforce the cool, dry air. Thursday high, got us staying at 79 degrees. And look at our morning lows, 40s to low 60s, 50s to low 60s. It'll turn a little milder, but still very pleasant on into the weekend.